Audible, right? Let me quickly create a cluster first. Yeah. The part is I have two components. One is fast API and another one is UI. The continuation of last class, part 3. Fast API. So combinedly, I'm going to deploy into the EKS cluster. I'm deploying into the EKS cluster. So in order to take the model, I'm loading it from the SageMaker because the last time we already done, the model is loading from the SageMaker model group. SageMaker model group. The model will load from here to the fast API and it will create a Docker image. It will push into the ECR. ECR. Then it will pull into the EKS and it will run. Sorry for this writing. Deploy into the EKS by using GitHub Actions. the last one, which we have already created the pipelines. If I go to my workflow, so this is the workflow. This workflow will combine these two workflows, deploy fast API and deploy UI. First, I have set up the environment variables, which is ECR repository API is churn prediction API and churn prediction UI. Two repositories we were creating here in the AWS cloud. Let me log into the cloud. If I go and see ECR, if I go and see the ECR, here you can see I have this both repositories, churn prediction API and churn prediction UI. This repositories will create a part of the pipeline. At first, it will try to see the repository. If not, it will create the repository, this particular step. If not, see, it will see the repository, the setup ECR repositories, and then it will create the repository. The second step is it will build and push fast API image. So it will check out into the fast API deployment in the left side, this one, and then we once describe the use of fast API and UI. Fast API is API communication that we do between two services. I cannot load this model. I cannot load this model to my UI to do predictions. Let's say there is a user. User came to UI and is asking predictions. UI cannot able to communicate directly with your model. There's no capability. In your code base also, when you want to directly communicate with your backend, so there will be a very complex communication you have to build. In order to simplify the communication, post the data like front end to back end communication and back end to front end communication to make the communication easy, and we use API. So here in our case, we use fast API. We have REST API, SOAP APIs, and fast API. Okay. So fast API is from Python, which is async mode and quite faster and easy rather than the REST API. Why I am using fast API? I'm connecting the fast API with my UI and I'm loading the model to my fast API. If I don't want this, so I can register the model and deploy into the SageMaker, and it will give me one endpoint. So that will do invocations, API invocations that will do. If I go with that, it will be cost. So we have already done in our last class, in one project class, in Streamlight House Prediction. So now we are loading this model. Now we are loading this model to the Fast API, and I'm deploying this Fast API in my EKS cluster. And I'm also deploying this UI in my EKS cluster. So whenever a user communicate with this UI, the UI will post a request to the Fast API, and Fast API, by using this model, it will give you the predictions. So that's what we are using Fast API and UI. So in production, we use Fast API as SageMaker endpoint. We use Fast API in the production. If it is the project, you don't want to go with the Fast API and complex configuration, so you don't want to maintain it, then you will go with the SageMaker endpoint. But the best practice is go with the Fast API, because we can integrate OAuth authentication, and we can limit the users, and we can drop the users, so we can have full control over the API. But at the SageMaker endpoint, no. Now if I come to see this Fast API, it will check out to my this repository, and it will try to find Docker file. By using this Docker file, it will create an image, and it will push into my ECR repository. It will push into my ECR repository, this particular step. By using kubectl command, it will deploy into my cluster. If you can see, by using this credentials of AWS access key ID, AWS secret key that we already provided in our secrets, it will use them. It will use them, and then it will deploy. Coming to the K8s namespace. K8s namespace is default. Then it will deploy my Fast API into my EKS cluster, where it is looking for k8s.yml, this file. In this file, this is a manifest file, a resource file. Kubernetes manifest file, a resource file, we call. Deployment churn prediction API, rolling update strategy, and here we are updating this image ID. So this image ID is going to replace with output whatever it is generated. You can see here SED command. SED command will replace the string with your target. Let's say in my file I have A and I want to replace with B. So I can use SCD command, source and the destination. So in this file, whatever here ECR registry, ECR repository, API, image name and tag, it will be going to replace. It will be going to replace. And then it will apply kubectl apply this one, and it will look into the status or restart, and then it will look into the waiting time does this are created or not? Similar way, it will do it for the UI deployment. Let me check the cluster is created or not. Yes. Let me go to the cluster. So 2 nodes are available. If I run kubectl get nodes, kubectl get pods, nothing is there. Let me run this workflow. Deploy complete MLOps stack. Run production or staging. Let it be production. Just run it. I go to this. I'm in Docker build and push. If I come to ECR history, fast API, no images. It should upload an image here by authenticating. It's building an image now. The push refers to the repository. Churn prediction API pushed. Do refresh. Do refresh. Now, prediction API. I got it. You can see I got it in prediction API. If you open this, so this is your image details. This much is the size of your image, and artifacts type is image, not any other artifact type. Then let's go here. But it got failed in deploy fast API. If you see the image tag, error converting YML JSON, line number 25 did not expect the key. Line number 25. Line number 25. Line number 25 here in this. line number 25. So there is no tag. So what I can do, duplicate the tab. Then referring to the image tag, we have not defined any this one. So what I'll do, I'll just define whenever I do commit and push, it will trigger my main one. I need to cancel that SageMaker one. That's the problem, because I don't want to again create a one more execution with my SageMaker pipeline. Now I'll go with and I'll do a rerun. So I'll do a rerun. We will hardcode the tags or use latest tags. It's just an output, not hardcode. You can use regex. I guess it will again fail. We should change to latest because here it is latest. Yes. You see, what happened? Meeting you may if the output is generating, then why isn't updating? Think in daily time. Why by running this? Otherwise, I'll do first fast API. Again, what failed? What I'll do? Think I don't need this one. Comment out. Let me push. Going now. Creating pods. We see pods are still 0 by 1. That means they are not ready. Now they are ready. Replica 2. Let me check the node is having proper this one security groups. Only 22. Now the health is loaded. That's done. So if I go to my repository in the README, if you can see how we can access, take node IP and this is the port number. Take node IP, colon. What would be the port number? Port number is this one, 30080. Enter. So this is where my API will communicate with the body. If I do docs, it opens my churn prediction API. Okay. We have get metrics, get health, post predict, post reload model, and get model info and get root. That means I can do these many communications with my API. If you want to feed any customer data, you have to feed gender, senior citizen, partner, dependents, tenure, the type of your data, string, integer, float, like this. So gender is a male, female is a string, right? Senior citizen, that means age 60, 50, right? So a partner, string, like this. Whenever you do communication with your API, we need to pass these fields. So these are all the schemas to communicate with our API. When the model info is loaded, model version, model ARN, model hash, last updated, status, error count and all. If you go back, it is showing like this. So this is JSON metadata kind of information. When you do docs, it is a human readable, attractive UI. When you open JSON, it will open the same like this. So this API, we won't write, okay? Don't be in a mode like we have to write this API code. No, your developer will write, your Python developer will write, or your ML engineer will write this API, and they'll deal with this API completely deploying over your API gateway in AWS and handle it with your Lambda. There will be an integration of OAuth 2.0. OAuth 2.0 is the best method for authentication and security. Sometimes you can use JWT tokens also. What is this OAuth and what is this JWT tokens in API? Let's say you have your UI, okay? Any UI. It's a UI UX or React, anything. We have a backend data. These many microservices are there, and you have API. So when you request from the UI, anything, let's say now I'm going to a Flipkart or Amazon sale. Here, so I'm just going to any one of the mobile. I'm clicking on it. When you click on it and you want to do this add to cart or do something like you want to go to the buy location. Okay, where is buy or at least add to cart? Let's do a sign in. Okay, fine. So now here it is moving to something, right? When I go and type any mail ID, proceed to create account in developer settings, in developer settings, more tools, developer tools. If you can see, if you can see, everything is 200 and there is an initiator. There is an initiator, app register, this one, and which is going to communicate with your next. Let me come to any authorization. So when you do a communication, it will give you 200. That means it is posting with post. That means it is posting with your post with setting as this token. With setting as this token. with your API only. With your API only. And above in the URL, whatever you're seeing here, this thing, this thing is actually encrypted. If you not do this encryption, we can see a very clear path actually where it is communicating. So that is not a best practice. So that can be misused and can be also attacked. So that's why we, this particular one will be going to give this random IDs. We can see here auth percentage to 2f 2.0, 2f 2.0 with OpenID identity. It is getting authentication with your API in the next in order to create your account. In order to create your account, whatever the details you provide. So the backend is actually an API. API is going to do this post. So this is how here also our API works. When you do any request, that comes to the API and that will send to your wherever you're requesting data. You are doing what? Get, fetching the data, information, or you are writing the data, post. You are writing the data, post. On it, your API will act. On it, your API will be act. So this is how the API works in between your front end, and these are all the back end services. So that's why always in your organization, your developers, whenever they're developing anything, they works on the back end first. They make sure everything is good. They deployed the backend and they created the APIs. They are okay with response of API. And then the people will go to the UI development. So the development will come in the left to right like this. Backend, API, and UI. So people will not first create the UI and then API and then backend. No. Any development, first backend, API, and UI. So in between, we use this authentication process. This authentication process, this one, in between. Because here in this API, there will be a multiple users per minute. Some 10,000 requests are coming. We can't accept them, right? We have to drop them. We have to drop them. This is how. Sometimes, you're using Chat GPT normal model that without subscription, right? It will only having some limit. That means API request limit. After that, you have to pay subscription. So this is how happen with the API only. This will also happen with the API only. If you reach the limit, that's it. So it will again restart after 24 hours your quota that you can do more 100 requests or something like that. So this is how this authentication will work with your API. Now let's deploy our UI. Into my UI also, let me remove this line. Same lines only, no change. Commented. Control/ multi-line commenting. If you select 3-4 lines in your keyboard, control /. If you press, the selected lines will be commented automatically. Commit and push. I don't want my SageMaker executions, so I'll cancel this. Then I'll go to UI front-end EKS deployment. I'll go and I'll run it. So here I need to enter the parameter of my node IP, This is my node IP because I'm explicitly passing this. Okay. Run workflow. I need to remove this then. Run workflow. I can also do a prediction. If I go to my here, I also given this URL API test. Just go to new tab, paste. Yes, if you provide second node IP also it works. I just need to replace this node IP. It has to load the model. If it is not properly load the model, where again fail. It is predicting. The churn probability is 0.379 and churn prediction is 0. So that means is not positive, is negative. With these details, it is negative. See, churn means canceling the subscription. Are you a churn customer? Churn means you are taking subscription of Netflix, right? And you're not liking and you are about to uh, cancel the subscription. When you are about to cancel the subscription, Netflix will send you some offers. They will detect before you desubscribe from it. So that is churn. Churn means they're predicting the customer whether he would like to stay with us or not. If he is not staying with us, then they will send some offers. So that is churn. The terminology we call churn. The problem, crash loopback issues. So there's something. kubectl describe pod or just directly give this pod telling that let's check the logs. Problem is entry point is not empty. Will attempt to perform to the configuration launch docker dot sh. I'm using this one enable listen to IPv6. Validate Linux. Okay, let's do one thing. Where the deployment got failed because the health is not correct. What I can do is AI. Yeah. Dot py. I think requirement.txt was not there. Now let's select the gender, male, senior citizen, 01, partner yes, dependent 1, yes, tenure is 6 months, let's say, phone service yes, multiple lines no, internet connectivity fiber optic, online security no, online backup no, device protection yes, tech support no, streaming TV yes, streaming movies yes, contract month to month, paperless billing yes, payment method is bank transfer, credit card, monthly charges, let's say 50, okay, and total charges is 100. Predict. The prediction churn, the churn probability, the prediction is 1. Churn probability 0.635. That means that guy will be moving out from the subscription. Churn probability 1. If churn probability is 0, then no, negative. Churn probability 1, then it's a positive. And its probability score is 0.663. So confidence score is 0.2 and risk level is high. You can say risk level is high. This particular replay, we can give it in a human understanding way. Oh, the customer is not able to cancel the subscription or not going to cancel the subscription. We can offer some category offers like this. So this is how a model will work with UI. Yeah, the probability score, yes, the probability score is less than the confidence score. So when you have this probability score, inconsistent, also we can, let's say, I'm not telling this is a correct one. This is an inconsistent prediction because 0.635 is higher and 0.27 is done. Then there is something, a metric behavior is not good. There's a difference in metrics. Whatever the metrics we are giving, whatever the metrics we are giving, where it is. So whatever the metrics we are giving, it is having all the strings, schema, it's having an inconsistent score. Let's say an example, if my churn model telling that prediction is 0.9 and confidence score is 0.5, then this is right. Okay, so this data would be a good. So whatever we provide data, that is the inconsistency and uncertainty data. Let's change the data. 0, no, no, DSL, no, let's to predict. Now 0.2, 50, 0.21, high, Total charges 20 and monthly charges 30. Still is an high. Let's say bank transfer 0.3. Contract is 1 year. Streaming movies, tech support, no. Online backup, yes. Online security, yes. Now do predict. Now it's 0.14. The risk level is medium. Churn probability, it came up to 0.5. Now my churn prediction is 0.9, then 0.5. That means this customer is not being churned or not going to cancel his things. So this is how this metrics, if you do change this, if you keep no and do predict, still in the medium, it will predict like this. So this prediction is happening from your model group from here. Here we are doing right. Here we are doing right. We are requesting here. We are sitting here and we're requesting this data. We're requesting this data. And don't be confused. This application I'm running in my local host because the pod is failed in the Kubernetes. The pod is failed in the Kubernetes. Simple. I'm deploying fast API in the Kubernetes. I'm deploying UI in the Kubernetes. If you have many applications, you deploy in the Kubernetes only. Your only part to deploy, operationalize, and whenever you get any instance, then do it. Or sometimes model testing will be happen, model performance testing will be happen. You need to work on it. Like example, this API is developed by your team and they would like to do a performance testing. That means they will run from your Postman or somewhere, they will run a query. They will put a load with K6 load testing. Let's say K6s load testing to your fast API. To your fast API. Your fast API has to handle 10K requests in an hour or in a minute like this. There's a condition. When this much requests are coming and hitting over your API in the Kubernetes, your pods are replicating or not by using HPA. By using HPA. Replicating or not, you need to check it out. You need to do this performance testing with your team. It is replicating and giving the data without no latency. Response back without no latency, then that is good. So after this performance testing only, your release will be deployed into the production. Until and unless no. And whenever it is doing this inference, you will be checking your model as well, that the model is having latency or it is having something like this. You will understand this model metrics and model monitoring by monitoring from your Grafana and Prometheus. So if you see here, I just added part 3.1 for monitoring. So we'll develop one more project, which I shown you in the first with the Terraform. In that, Grafana, monitoring, everything will come. If you do this part, like from 1 week, we have developed this part 1, part 2, part 3, right? If you also do in just 2 days, part 1, part 2, part 3, and we'll cover up some Azure and we'll cover up some Google, and then we'll deploy our LLM things also. We'll use those LLM models. We'll do all this monitoring stuff. Part one, part two, part three. Like part one is on the models, part two on the LLMs, part three on the agentic AIs. So there is a different monitoring stacks. Monitoring stacks are not yet confirmed at the organization's level still. Every organization is still under doing a POC on the monitoring part. Only few organizations who are successfully running their AI and machine learning models, they are good at the monitoring. Except those companies, all other companies are, they don't know what is going on the monitoring stuff. Example, ChatGPT is a Gen AI company. They are having a good monitoring stuff. Okay, Microsoft, they are having good monitoring stuff. Google, they are having good monitoring stuff. Anthropic, they are having good monitoring stuff. Amazon, one-on-one lab. So they are also having good monitoring stuff. So like, but other companies who are utilizing them, few companies only in pharma based, like in medical and pharma only, they are good at the monitoring. And some banking. In banking also, very less models are using right now. They are still doing a lot of trial and error versions to implement the models into their banking system, but it is risky. So they are not fully that much confident of how other companies are releasing the models. Bankings are not doing that much confidently releasing the models. So we'll see what challenges with the monitoring stack while we are monitoring models with the different setups. Grafana and Prometheus are the best because they are open source and full control, and custom configurations we can do it. Okay. Let me see it. This is our endpoint. API endpoint. Cool. So what you do, go to this repository, make the changes, whatever you like. So this is the homework. Can you fix this UI? Can you fix this? Someone can please fix this UI, the Kubernetes. Clone this repository, fork this repository, or clone this repository, and then do your changes. Make sure update your README file according to you, because you can add it into your resume also, or you can showcase your things. Update this all namings according to you. Do your changes, invest some time on it, and if you want to update all the step-by-step things, update step-by-step things in your README. Yes, I will be update some Notion notes. If given a scenario, how an MLOps engineer will act on it, and interview questions. So there is some scenarios where I am every day seeing from the many interviews. I'll add those things only. So what type of code we write and what type of code we should not write. If Sometimes if you are on the startup, I'm telling, startups, they will use you like a hell. Whatever they giving you the work, it can be in your scope or out of scope, whatever they want you to work. So that's where your creativity will comes out actually. Instead of playing in the company, your creativity will comes up. Your responsibility will be more, and where you can handle more actually in the startups. You have to write training scripts, which is quite easy. You can do it with, I'm telling you, you can do it with any coding assistant. That's so simple. The only thing you need to do debug. When you're getting errors, you need to do debug. Okay. That is important. How you are doing, the way of approaching to do debug a particular script or particular model while it is trained. So training scripts like all your pre-processing, evaluation, inference, training, these scripts you will write. And those are quite easy also. The second thing is pipeline script, YAML scripts. Pipeline scripts. If you are using, actually I require MLOps resume with DevOps because my current experience in DevOps, so it will be help. Yes, I'll share the resumes also. If you keep your profile now, you'll get multiple calls and you'll be not able to answer. Prepare parallelly from next class onwards. I'll ask 5 questions in every class on the MLOps. Please prepare on it and answer so that it will be quite easy. Only thing on the model, they ask let's say they are asking 10 questions. 5 questions on ML side and 5 questions surely on the DevOps side. You know Terraform, you know Docker, you know Kubernetes, you know CI/CD. So these are all 5 questions and 5 questions on the ML side. What is model? What is data training thing? And what is data set you're using for it? And how it is coming, how it is doing, how you're deploying the model. These questions only, not more than that. Some companies, some companies are asking sometimes in the interview, I'm telling you, sometimes in the interview, they'll ask some simple Python question, simple Python coding. What coding, you know? The coding Python questions also I'll give you. I have a data set that is .csv. Load it, print 5. Load it, print 5. Like this they'll ask. Or they'll ask, hey, there is a Python code, Python code function. Can you write any function? You can write any grid function or something like this. And they'll ask something like on Python, this one, uh, remove occurrences. Remove occurrences, multiple occurrences, second occurrence, third occurrence. So these kind of questions only. This is also, they'll ask if they feel you like you are something faking. Okay. But when you enough like you are, when you're portraying yourself, you're strong and you're doing the same, you have to say that I know the Python. I'm good at Python, so I can write it. So some of things you can learn this. I'll give you, don't depend on these codes on the chat GPT because it will give you multiple lines. There is very minimal line we can close this kind of interview questions. If you just go and practice them, that's enough. In every interview, they're going to ask this? No. So you have to say that I'm good at Python. I can do coding. So if this kind of questions, you can write it down. If they're asking complex, the person who is asking you also, he will not able to do a code also, but they're just validating you. They're just validating you how you will write. That's it. They even couldn't able to do if you ask the reverse question. So they just validate. In India, that is a problem. So we need to answer confidently every time. So in MLOps interviews, in some interviews only they'll ask these questions. In other interviews, they'll completely fine with your DevOps skill and other MLOps model development and model trainings and model deployments. How do you do? All these are okay. Example, last week, I guess, one of my student attended EPAM interview. EPAM generally do 1.5 hour interviews. There he had 2 hours of interviews, like in 2 rounds. One is 1.5 hour and next one is 1 hour. He didn't written any single piece of code. On Azure part, I'll show the minimum resource utilization project because it will cost me a lot if I forget to do something, or if I if I leave something like that and I forget, it will cost me high. So I will use a minimum resources on Azure and I'll show the same kind of project. And one more thing we forgot. What if my Lambda function, where is my Lambda? My Lambda has to trigger, right? My Lambda has to trigger my pipeline. Go to S3 bucket. We have it for the raw data, but I need to do it for the processed data. Go to properties. Event notifications. Give event name. Let me do. Let me go to raw data, properties. Here I have already given this, right? I'll just give this. Event type is put. Destination will be my Lambda function and save changes. If I go to my SageMaker, in my domain, user, launch studio, if I do come to pipeline, I'll open a pipeline. Let's see, does it go into trigger or not? So what I would like to do, I'll just upload data set. Here I will upload a data set. Upload, add file, pre-process data. Upload it means the second versioning. It is a second versioning. Upload, upload. Let's see the Lambda. See, it is running. I didn't done anything. It is running. Now it will go. It will run one more process. So this is how it happens. Whenever you are monitoring stuff is identified, we didn't monitoring it. You are monitoring stuff that is nothing but you are retraining stuff. So my Lambda is a retraining pipeline. You can assume our Lambda is a retraining pipeline. Whenever new data came, your data science engineer done some new data analysis thing on the notebook. So this is SageMaker. We have run the pipelines from GitHub Actions, from GitHub Actions, right? And then we also had a Lambda with our S3. Okay, I'll just keep it here. This is our S3 bucket. When my pipeline is running, when my pipeline is running with GitHub Actions, it is creating a pipeline here. And those stages are running like it is pulling data from S3 in the initial step. It is pulling data from in initial step. Pull input data. It is create the pipeline. Here it will do data prep. Right? And then it will do train. And then it will deploy. That means register, not deploy. So register in model group. In interview, you can say this workflow. Now, why I'm using Lambda? So this is deployed. I use it with my fast API. I load it to my fast API, to my UI, and inference is happening. Okay, prediction is happening, inference means. Okay. Now, we didn't done anything, but assume, so there is a retraining process, which we are identifying the customer dissatisfaction, customer or data drift happen, feature drift happen. So this will be taken into the consideration, and your DS data science engineer, where he will do this, he will be performing this thing. Into your SageMaker notebook. We created, right? Notebook. Or your ML engineer. They will perform this drift. Hey, what is new thing came? What happened? All this is experiments. Everything you'll do at this one. And he will decide which one solution with one solution. So with this solution, the new data will be uploaded to a S3 bucket. Then your, because this is added into S3 bucket, your Lambda will trigger and your Lambda will again trigger this one. Getting me? Everyone. Yeah, you can, model group is same, like how ECR repository is same. If you want to create different ECR repositories, you can create, because you want to different applications repositories, then they can, you follow different application repositories. If you have a 10 models, 10 models are categorized. Let's say this is A model categorized, B model categorized. So you can, each category, you can create a model group. Under that model group, you will be only keep your related models. That means under a group, let's say, so this is my churn one, right? Churn model. I'll create the churn model group and I'll only work churn model versions. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many models I work? That will be under churn model category, right? Under this group. So this group clearly stating that churn model. All churn model versions will be under this group. If you're working on some other Gen AI model, create Gen AI group. If you're working on other prediction models, other regression model, create for it. The group is always collect a number of models and the model versions under single group. Same like your ECR repository. You're creating a repository. In that repository, all your image versions you will keep it, right? Same process. If I go here, so it is running now train model. Train model will be get failed because our MLflow I didn't install. Will I didn't install right in the egas cluster. It will get fail. Are you all clear as of now? Just tell me you got part 1, part 2, part 3 or not. It's yeah. Already apply with course. You will apply. Yeah, but let's do you can start applying after this July, I recommend. Part 1 is clear, sir, and 2 and 3 need to work on. Cool. 2 is nothing, you just go and read the script which I have given in the repository. understand the script. Okay, so do one thing. You're not getting it. Go to Git digest. Git digest. Go to this one. Oh, copy this Git digest, paste it here. Ingest, not Git digest. Okay. So, let me tell you. Tell me. Wait. Got it. Give this URL. Give this URL and do ingest. Just do ingest. So it will give you all the files, whatever there in my directory, whatever 30 files it is analyzed, whatever there in my directory, it will give everything, each file code. You can see it is readme. If I come down more, so this is churn pipeline.py. So this is configuration.md. So each file output, it will give it to me. You just copy it. If you're not understanding my scripts, you just copy it or download the file. Go paste in ChatGPT. Explain, ask him to explain me this, what has done this in this repository. What has done in this repository. So it will tell you. It will tell you why I have created the script. What is this code block? What is it is doing? What is the responsibility of this particular script? Okay, just go and paste it in the chat GPT or a copilot. Simple, it will explain you. Copilot will not handle this much data. It's a big data. Means the number of lines are more. Chat GPT you can paste and you can ask him. Or otherwise, there is Git diagram. So here you can just, if you want to understand the connectivities, go and paste here and ask diagram. It will generate a diagram how these scripts are connected. So there was a syntax error. This model is not handling much, I guess, but it will give you example. Let's take any other from our repository only. Let's take this one. Might be too many files, right? No, it can handle up to 50 files. See, this is how it is. If I do this SageMaker pipelines, ML pipeline, results.py, run pipeline, and model deployment with CDK, how each script will connect to each which one, it will show. So deploying an endpoint model deployment CDK, so custom resource group and layers and pipeline, and once the SageMaker real-time endpoint is given, and that will be into this here, data clients, consumers, online packages, code in your data ingestion, data monitoring Lambda, S3 bucket, your code pipeline will work with your code build, VAB gateway, web infra, online consumer, like this. So this repository, project E2A, AWS MLOps. So this is how it works. Simple. Even you can download this image and add it to your repository in README. So whenever someone interviewer or someone is asked you, you can quickly share that and you can explain this. This is how it connects this like this. This is how this. Nobody will not ask you to execute. If you give high level presentation that the other person feel, he should feel like, this guy is super. I don't know. I only don't know the subject, but this guy is telling something new and very informative. You should present like that. So then only whatever the package you demand, you will get it. So these are some interview tactics. All the matter is how you're satisfying the other person who is interviewing you. That's it. You're telling correct answer, wrong answer doesn't matter. how you are impressing other opposite person. That is the matter. Cool. So let me delete the cluster, then just go and do workaround of creating and deploying all these models. And then after your completion, please make sure clean your repositories, please. Otherwise, unnecessarily your account will be built. Okay. And clean your S3 buckets also, and clean your models here, job training jobs and all. Clear those things so you can save some time. With two executions it is done. Why two executions? Only one, right? Oh my god, versioning is enabled and Lambda will do trigger, trigger, trigger. See, one thing, sometimes in your ETL jobs, ETL engineers, whenever they ask you to create Lambda function with your blue jobs, one case I'm telling, you have Lambda, you have Lambda, and you have a S3 bucket where you're getting some data from the lakes, data lakes are somewhere. So there's a pushing of data, and you have enabled object versioning. When you enable versioning, this event will be a continuous event. The Lambda will trigger always something. So this 300 seconds, it costs you per usage. How much you're using? Your cost will be more and more. We can't. So careful on this part when you're working with versioning and Lambda. Careful. It will, or in your Azure functions. Careful. Logic apps. Careful. So otherwise it will bill like hell. Let me delete my Lambda also. Cool. So let's meet in next class. Please do practice and let me know if you have any issues.